Save a Child's Heart. In recognition of over 20 years of improving the health and welfare of children, regardless of race, nationality, or financial status, through life-saving cardiac surgeries for children from developing countries. For initiating programs in developing countries for training physicians and other medical personnel in cardiology to provide service to patients in their home communities, including by setting up local centers of excellence in cardiac surgery, and for inspiring young people to raise awareness and support for life-saving heart surgeries.
Thank you, Dr. Kanim. We will now listen to a musical item as I invite the Deputy Secretary General to present the diploma, the medal, and the monetary prize to Save a Child's Heart, represented here today by Dr. Lior Sasson, Head of the Cardiothoracic Surgery Department at Wolfson Medical Center and lead surgeon.
Thank you very much. Before I start, I urge you to pay attention because there's going to be an exam about all the facts that I'm going to tell you about. Your Excellency, Dr. Natalia Kanem, Executive Director of United Nations Population Fund, President of the Award Committee for the United Nations Population Fund Awards, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited to be here today with my colleagues, Dr. Sion Houri, Head of the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit, and Dr. Akiva Tamir, Head of Pediatric Cardiology from the Wolfson Medical Center in Holon, Israel. We are very proud to accept this prestigious award from the United Nations Population Fund on behalf of a large group of dedicated and generous volunteers, medical teams, philanthropists, and our global organization, Save a Child's Heart. Allow me to take you 19 years back to 1999, when one extraordinary individual made an enormous difference. The place is Ethiopia. 15-year-old street boy Yared, suffering from life-threatening heart disease, was referred to a local hospital. Most people don't know that about 1 out of every 100 children are born with congenital heart disease. And though most of these children have correctable conditions, the majority of them will die before the age of 20 as a result of lack of facilities and doctors capable of performing the life-saving heart surgery or catheterization they so desperately need. In Yard's case, however, the local doctor, Dr. Belaya Begaz, grasped the gravity of Yard's illness, and he knew he must be flown immediately to Israel to undergo life-saving heart surgery at the Wolfson Medical Center. His operation was a great success, and so was everything that followed. The experience not only saved him, but also inspired him to give back to his own community. Yard studied education and opened a school that houses more than 100 children and orphans that would be otherwise be homeless, hungry, in danger, and living on the street. At his school, Yard feeds them, educates them, and encourages them to reach their full potential. None of this would have been possible if it were not for a passion, vision, and a dream of one individual, the founder of Save a Child's Heart, my mentor and my friend, the late Dr. Ami Cohen, Zichro Livracha. Dr. Cohen trained as a cardiac surgeon in the U.S. Army at the Walter Reed Medical Center in the early 80s. He was sent to serve in Korea, and while doing a tour of duty, he was introduced to someone that would change the course of his life and ours forever, Harriet Hodges. Harriet's mission in life was to help indigent Korean children with heart problems. Ami spent the following year operating on 35 children in her program. Before Ami's untimely death, he reflected on his experience in an article about his life work and wrote, "The week I left Korea, I was presented with a $5 plaque of gratitude from these children and their parents. To this day, the plaque hangs in my office as one of my prized possessions." And so it all began. In 1992, Dr. Cohen and his family immigrated to Israel, where he was taken under the wing of Professor Aryeh Shachner. Professor Shachner is the president of Save a Child's Heart and former chief and founder of the cardiothoracic department at the Wolfson Medical Center. Professor Shachner, a compassionate physician and a person of vision and action, recognized Ami as a young and promising cardiac surgeon and made him a member of his surgical staff. In 1995, doctors Ami Cohen, Akiva Tamir, and Sion Houri received their very first patients arriving to Israel from Ethiopia. And Save a Child's Heart was born. Dr. Tamir and Dr. Houri continue to carry on this heroic work night and day, and they are here with us today. It is my privilege to acknowledge them here this evening. Save a Child's Heart is an Israeli non-governmental organization based at the Wolfson Medical Center. The mandate of the United Nations Population Fund is in part to deliver a world in which every young person's potential is fulfilled, and we couple this aim with a long-standing Jewish tradition as described in the Bible: to save a life is to save a world. The goals of Save a Child's Heart, as we see it, is to contribute our small part to achieving this mandate and fulfilling this tradition by saving the lives of children with heart disease in the developing world, without regard to any child's nationality, religion, ethnic origin, or financial resources. Since its establishment in 1995, Save a Child's Heart has saved the lives of almost 5,000 children from 57 countries from around the world, allowing them to grow into young and healthy adults and to achieve their potential and their dreams. Of those, more than 2,000 have come from the West Bank and Gaza, and more than 300 came from Iraq and Syria. As I speak, there are 44 children being treated now at the Wolfson Medical Center in Israel from Ethiopia, Romania, Fiji, Myanmar, Senegal, Tanzania, Zanzibar, and the West Bank and Gaza. Save a Child's Heart, with a special consultative status at the United Nations, accomplishes its missions by carrying out three principal activities. First, as I have already mentioned, we bring children to Israel and provide life-saving catheterization and surgeries. Second, our medical team travels overseas to screen and treat children on the ground in their home countries. And third, we provide training opportunities in Israel for medical personnel from partner sites to create center of competence in those countries. Save a Child's Heart has trained more than 120 medical practitioners from Azerbaijan, China, Congo, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Georgia, Kenya, Moldova, Nepal, Nigeria, Romania, Russia, Tanzania and Zanzibar, Uzbekistan, Vietnam, and the Palestinian Authority. The trainees live in our children's home for 1 to 5 years, train with our doctors at Wolfson Medical Center, and then return home, often as the first and only professional in their specialty. Once they have a fully functioning team, the hospital can become a center of competence which lessens the need for children to come to Israel. Centers of competence have already been established in China, Moldova, Romania, Tanzania, and are in development in Ethiopia, Zambia, and the Palestinian Authority, providing life-saving treatment each day. We have now Dr. Ahmed Zarour from Ramallah, training to become a pediatric cardiac surgeon in the Palestinian Authority. Dr. David Silvera has been training with us for 2 years to return as the second generation of Tanzania's only pediatric cardiac team. Dr. Awano is training to become Ethiopia's second pediatric cardiac surgeon, while his wife, Dr. Rachel Melako, is training in cardiac anesthesia. Since our modest beginning 23 years ago, Save a Child's Heart has grown dramatically. As I mentioned earlier, at this moment there are 44 children in Israel from 8 different countries. And as my partner and colleagues at the Palestinian Ministry of Health said, disease has no borders. Save a Child's Heart has no political agenda whatsoever. Its only mission is to save lives. Having said that, we hope that by mending hearts, we are building bridges of peace, person to person, nation to nation, and saving a world one heart at a time. Save a Child's Heart is dependent upon the teamwork of highly skilled and selfless group of individuals, doctors, nurses, technicians, staff, volunteers, and donors who are motivated by our Jewish tradition of Tikkun Olam, which means to mend the world. I wish to acknowledge specifically the next generation of Save a Child's Heart physicians, Dr. Hagi Dekel in pediatric cardiac surgery, Dr. Alona Racher in pediatric cardiology, Dr. Sagi Asa in invasive pediatric cardiology, and Dr. Ilan Cohen and Dr. Racheli Sion Sarid in pediatric intensive care. As the work of my generation tapers off, but not too soon, I hope, I have complete faith that this next generation will lead Save a Child's Heart towards new horizons. The right to life is among the most precious of universal human rights, and we at Save a Child's Heart strive to help every child with heart disease grow into a young, healthy person and to give each one the opportunity to change and mend the world. This is our motivation. When Yared was 25 years old, he returned back to Save a Child's Heart in Israel, but for a very different reason. He had taken into his care an orphan named Tamru, who was in a very poor health. The child desperately needed life-saving heart surgery, and Yared knew that he was just the person to help. Yared cared for Tamru and contacted his friend at Save a Child's Heart. Dr. Akiva Tamir and Dr. Sion Houri, to work out a plan. Just a few weeks later, Yared and Tamru arrived in Israel together, and Tamru underwent life-saving surgery. Even after returning home to Ethiopia, Yared continued to look after Tamru. Today, Yared is 34 years old and still keeps these memories close to his heart. He now has a young daughter, Anna Ami, that he named after the founder of Save a Child's Heart, who saved his life and changed it forever, Dr. Ami Cohen. Yared is planning to reach a milestone of helping 1,000 children in need by the year of 2020. Yared is only one of thousands of promising young people growing up in our world with a bright and promising future after having his life saved by Save a Child's Heart in Israel. Mending the world is not limited only to Save a Child's Heart. Save a Child's Heart work hand in hand with many local and global partners. Permit me to acknowledge the contribution of a number of them. The Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute in Tanzania, Open Heart Institutional from Australia, Mending Kids for the US and Italy, and the generous support of the Australian Proud Foundation. On our medical missions to Tanzania, we have the pleasure of working with Professor Felix Berger and his team from the Deutsches Herzzentrum Berlin. In addition, Ein Herz for Kinder for Germany generally supports life-saving treatment for many children from Tanzania and around the world. In Romania, we work with Grigore Alexandrescu Hospital together with global partners at Rotary, Gift of Life International, International Children's Heart Foundation, and Albany Medical Center. In Ethiopia, we work with Children's Heart Fund Ethiopia, Black Lion Hospital, Jima University Medical Center, St. Paul's Millennium Hospital, Mending Kids US, and Chain of Hope UK. At the Palestinian Medical Complex in Ramallah, and in the Palestinian Authority in general, we have the support of USAID, the European Union Peace Building Initiative, the Israeli Ministry of Regional Cooperation, and Shevet Achim. The Israeli Board of Directors, under the leadership of the chairman Yoram Cohen, who is here with us today, works in partnership with the worldwide family of Save a Child's Heart in the US, Canada, UK, Netherlands, Australia, Switzerland, South Africa, Kenya, and Ghana. This demanding and relentless work is being conducted meticulously by our Israeli Executive Director, Mr. Simon Fisher. Simon and the dedicated team he has assembled have given all their hearts and many years of dedication to growing this organization. Together, we remain committed to the legacy of Dr. Ami Cohen as we share our knowledge, give a new lease on life to children throughout the developing world, and work towards an even more impactful future. We are currently in the advanced stages of construction of Save a Child's Heart International Pediatric Cardiac Center at a new children's hospital at the Wolfson Medical Center. This has been made possible due to the generous support of the Ministry of Health and the Ministry for Regional Cooperation of the State of Israel, as well as the enormous generosity of numbers of individuals and foundations. Save a Child's Heart is grateful to each and every one of them, but permit me to note in particular Morris Kahn, Sylvan Adams, the Israeli Foundation, Legacy Harriet Fund, Healthly Charitable Trust, Christians United for Israel, John and Dana Hagee, and Kim and Jen Clement. Morris Kahn was the first person who was able to predict the importance of Save a Child's Heart. He was our supporter from the very beginning, encouraging us and helping us with all the challenges we faced. Without you, Morris, we wouldn't be standing here today. Mr. Sylvan Adams and his wife, Margaret, were captivated by our dream and are committed to taking life-saving to the next level. The new Children's Hospital will be named in honor of Sylvan Adams, and the centerpiece will be the Middle East's first international pediatric cardiac center. It is indeed the realization of our dream. As you already know, both Mr. Khan and Mr. Adams are here with us this evening. Both are not only major supporters, but also enthusiastic and tireless ambassadors of Save a Child's Heart. Thank you, Morris. Thank you, Sylvan. In this small global village that we all share, we must care for our own children as well as our neighbors, no matter how near or far, for we are all one people, and neither geography nor prejudice should impede us. In the words of the Bible, and common to all beliefs, we must each love our neighbor as ourselves. This principle underlies all we do at Save a Child's Heart. To all of us, fortunate enough to be here in the very developed world, I would like to end my speech with words written by the late Dr. Ami Cohen for the next generation of surgeons. And I quote, "I am convinced that for the vast majority of people who choose cardiothoracic surgery as profession, idealism was initially a strong factor. Hold fast to your day after dream vision, because if it fades, despite all skills acquired, there will be something missing. Join us. There is work for everybody. There are no dollars and cents in it, but it is worth a fortune." Ami, we can not agree with you more. And therefore, in your words, we can and we should. Thank you very much.